The third chapter, The Astonishing Effect of Enlightenment Tea. A quarter of an hour later, Enlightenment tea was successfully brewed. After brewing, the entire tea leaves melted into the water, disappearing without a trace. The tea water was clear and transparent, like pure water, with a thin white mist emanating. Appraisal scale. Item: Enlightenment tea water. Type: water. Grade: lower grade earth level tea water. Effect 1. Temporary increase of 10 plus 5 times X enlightenment after consumption, lasting for 2 hours, 204 Y minutes. Effect 2. Permanent increase of 1 point of enlightenment after the first consumption. Long-term consumption will permanently increase enlightenment, with a maximum limit of 10 points of enlightenment. No mistakes were made, and he relaxed. Lin Yuan stopped overthinking, and with a single gulp, he finished the tea. As the tea entered his throat, he felt as if he had arrived on top of the northern glacier. The ice-cold tea flowed down his throat, refreshing his entire body. He shivered intensely, and his mind suddenly became clear. Now, his enlightenment instantly increased from 1 point to 22 points. A 22-fold increase in enlightenment turned Lin Yuan from an ordinary person into a super genius in an instant. Although this genius had a limited duration, only lasting for 2 hours. What could be accomplished in 2 hours? Lin Yuan immediately planned to thoroughly digest the memories of his predecessor and become his true self. He had only acquired a part of his predecessor's memories now. Memories were just memories. To transform them into his own abilities, he needed to carefully organize and understand them, a process that would take at least a month. Taking advantage of the current surge in enlightenment, he could quickly digest these memories, lest after a few days, they became blurry, which would be disastrous. Closing his eyes, calming his mind, he recalled the memories of his predecessor. In the empty mind, all the memories of his predecessor constantly surged and filled the space. Lin Yuan immediately began to sift through, extracting all knowledge related to cultivation from the chaotic memories, temporarily disregarding other miscellaneous memories. At the same time, the powerful enlightenment endowed Lin Yuan with extraordinary thinking ability. He simulated a memory library. A large amount of knowledge about cultivation transformed into floating fragments in the central part of the memory library. Lin Yuan's consciousness grasped a fragment of cultivation knowledge, and began to learn, comprehend, and understand the meaning of these cultivation knowledge. With a 22-fold increase in enlightenment, Lin Yuan's thinking was as fast as lightning. What would take an ordinary person minutes to understand, Lin Yuan could comprehend in a single second. After learning some relevant fragments of cultivation knowledge, they could be combined to form a book of knowledge, flying onto the shelves of the memory library. These knowledge books, now formed, had become Lin Yuan's own foundation. Spirit Plant Studies, Spirit Material Studies, Types and Levels of Artifacts, Skills for Using Artifacts, Combat Experience, Principles of Magic, Skills for Using Magic Symbols, Operating Route Map for the Pinnacle Stone Giard, above the Thousand Beast Mountain, the knowledge fragments floating in the center of the memory library became fewer and fewer, and the knowledge books on the shelves became more and more. After some time, Lin Yuan finally completely digested all the cultivation knowledge. All the cultivation knowledge his predecessor had spent 10 years learning was now in Lin Yuan's mind, to the extent that Lin Yuan's current level of knowledge surpassed his predecessor's. Because of the powerful enlightenment within him, or perhaps a clearer perspective, Lin Yuan, based on his predecessor's knowledge, filled in the gaps, deduced, and understood many things that his predecessor vaguely comprehended. Now, he was a true cultivator, at the 4th level of Qi cultivation. There was still plenty of time left for the Enlightenment tea. What should he comprehend next? Spells? No. The most important thing in cultivation is the cultivation base. Foundation building with a single palm, annihilating a chi cultivator, is quite normal. For a chi cultivator, each breakthrough in a realm brings improvements in spirit power intensity, spirit energy recovery speed, spirit power limit, range of spirit power projection, the power of spell casting, and more. Generally, breaking through a realm can increase combat power by 30% or even more. Therefore, he now needed to comprehend the Pinnacle Stone Chi art thoroughly. The higher the proficiency of the Pinnacle Stone Chi art, the faster the cultivation speed. This was like sharpening a knife before cutting wood. With a thought, the spiritual power within his body followed the route of the Pinnacle Stone Chi art, absorbing the earth's spiritual energy. The first time he practiced according to the cultivation trajectory in the memories of his predecessor, it took a full 10 minutes, and he estimated an increase in the limit of spiritual power based on feeling. Lin Yuan recalled the practice process, pondered for a while, and found many incongruities. So, on the second round of cultivation, Lin Yuan tried to modify some of the aspects. The second round of cultivation only took 9.5 minutes, and the effect of cultivation seemed to have improved. Deep in thought, Lin Yuan continued with the third round of adjustments. Time passed slowly. The effects of the Enlightenment tea gradually diminished, almost to the point of being negligible. Lin Yuan concluded his practice, a joyful expression on his face. He glanced at the system panel. Infinity Synthesis System. Host, Lin Yuan. Realm, Cultivation. Fourth layer, Cultivation Technique. Pinnacle Stoniki Athlfiv. Perfection, Yellow Grid Lower Rank Cultivation Technique. Earth Attribute Cultivation Technique. Cells. Word Technique of 2. Skilled. Floating Cloud Steps of Mastery. Dust Removal Technique of Mastery. Spirit Rain Technique of Mastery. Fire Ignition Technique of 2. Skilled. System Skills. Identification Technique. Synthesis Technique of Own. Synthesis Count. 0 Pinnacle Stoniki Atl Dulfiv. Floating Cloud Steps of Dulfra. Spirit Train Technique of Dulfra. Pinnacle Stoniki at Advanced Fremel for Skillet Tolfid Perfection. By Pottingle Frem Mastery. Before Complete Mastery. And Reaching Perfection. In their final rotation, the most compressed set 05 menus, and the increase in spiritual power limit reach a distinct. The cultivation to watch out, and cultivation effect response default. This difference was 16 to meet the original. 16 times, the gap was too significant. That is, the effective in this cultivation was about social summons the regio cultivation. Colton read upon of enlightenment truly be that good. Upon reflection, Lin Yuan understood. In fact, this was also akin to accumulation leading to a breakthrough, similar to sudden enlightenment. His predecessor had been practicing the Pinnacle Stoniki at for 10 years, solidified the condition returning in a dominion without an oil in Jetona, uncovering Galf previous foundations. This led to their rapid progress she's experiencing no. Why that accumulation of the sea? Years of cultivation experience, even if could rank the enlightenment and cultivation technique, at most, to comprehend master a level. As for progress know the spells, Eras because for working through the cultivation technique, the enlightenment effect and the full development of time. Th. Istim was no to new to break through 6, so explore the potential of spells as well. Improving floating cloud steps was related to capability, while spiritual technique was used to advance spiritual herbs. Indeed, a singular wish of enlightenment related to the foundation for linear and cultivation happy oracle. Estonic acid transformed from Estoniac Cito Swift Sword Ox even though this cultivation technique was only of dialogue lower rank. Its scientific equivalent Alvani of lower rank cultivation technique. Hack out and wait tossed at practicing. Thutastabing Benenkish Hermelinea and Havitosabrest. Aforut. Enlightenment consumed too much mental energy, and needed to good night's sleep to cover. Tomorrow, Kual begin Thekari Refanata Disciple.